Hello everyone. I just started a new stream because the last one was definitely the wrong one. I'm still learning to process this and to edit videos, so I'm gonna do a lot of mistakes. However, let's talk about apocalypse in video games and in Resident Evil 2 remake. But first of all, I want to repeat what I said last time in my last video about how to analyze a painting. Okay, so I have a few buttons here. The one is the one with the starting. Okay, and let's remove Hieronymus Bosch. Put this one on and go to no, and yes. Okay, there it is. So this is one of the paintings I discussed about last time. Okay, it's supposed to be Paris, and it deals with a lot of contrast. I will not repeat myself that much, but the way light is used in the painting is creating a contrast that is connected to moral values and differences in society. So basically, here we have a silhouette, two silhouettes, right? A lady, a rich lady that holds a leash in her hand, and chained to the leash there is a little monkey, and of course we have an animal, an exquisite animal that probably is not very cheap, given the fact that monkeys don't live in Europe. Okay, so it's an animal from Africa or some other continent like South America. It's an exotic animal for Europe, therefore it must be costly. An expensive animal shows us that the owners are part of the aristocracy, or they are very rich. So the year is the year of the painting was 1884, 1886, probably, because we're not sure when it was exactly painted in what year, but somewhere around these years. We have this painting about Paris. Okay, in contrast to the woman, we see the silhouette of a man. He's smoking pipe. He occupies a way smaller space in the picture, and obviously he's not happy. He has the same height as the dog. Well, he's not standing, right? But we can see that the top of his head is the same as the dog's back, or even tail. Okay, so this shows us the difference between the rich and the poor in France or in Paris at that time. Okay, and this is something that belongs to a dark area of the painting, which symbolizes that this reality is grim, is unfair, it is cold and dark, okay, in a moral sense of way. So half in light, half in dark, because the bottom of these two silhouettes is in dark. They sit on the dark, so their legs, their dresses are in dark. But the upper half is in light. We can see the contrast between a mother and a daughter. Okay, now we do have an invisible leash here. So we still have the struggle for power, or the struggle for authority, and we can see that mother is quite vertical. She doesn't bend. She has a firm position. She's very strict, and the daughter bends to her will while she's dreaming. Perhaps she's daydreaming about her possible suitor or lover, the one who sent her flowers, who probably wants to marry her. However, mother doesn't agree. She scans the horizon. She scans the area, aware of the dangers that might be present there. The dangers for her daughter. She cares about her daughter. She's the voice of reason. She doesn't bend to feelings. Her daughter is naive, pure but naive, right? She has flower in her hands. She's all feelings. Is at the age she can easily fall in love and be seduced by somebody who wants her fortune or just want to have fun with her. And in that society is something very bad, because one of the parents is to be outcast from society. And you can see this symbol here with a lady that holds a fish rod in her hands. And this the critics identified this fish rod as a symbol for prostitution that happened on the island of La Jatte in Paris, where this image sends to. Okay, this is supposed to be a caption of a Sunday spent on La Jatte, which is an island in Paris. Okay, so we have this contrast here. So mother is very much aware that her daughter should not bend to her emotion, should not go with the passion, because this is one of the risks, like to become one or treated like a prostitute and lose a face in the society. So we have the contrast between wisdom and innocence, or stupidity, ignorance, right? Reason and emotions. We have the contrast between the old and the young. Experience and lack of experience, and so forth, all presented in light. So this contrast is a good thing, this kind of leash, invisible leash, when the reason holds the feelings in place in order to prevent the innocent to suffer, is something that is presented in light. There is a certain type of control that is okay, and we see it in the central part of the painting. Okay, so it's center right. So you may think like, this is all right. Now, opposite to this, there is another type of contrast, 100% in light, you may think, but actually, if you think of the symbol of yin and yang, it's not like that. There's a dark part here and a dark part there. Now, let's check this out. Of course, the child represents innocence, purity, potential. Of course, it's dressed in white, in the blue aura that represents, of course, the shade of the hat. Also has the shape of saint's aura, right? There's a circle that surrounds the head, and you may think like, okay, this is the image of an angel, like that Baroque ideal in a way, like babies with wings have, they are the angels. But opposite to her, okay, next to her actually, not exactly controlling her. If you look at that, like the girl is not controlled by the mother. Mother walks next to her, but she's not holding a leash. She doesn't totally control her. Okay, you may think like everything is in light, so it represents a perfect portrait of mother and daughter strolling on La Jatte. Okay, but check this one out. Mother has an umbrella. I'm gonna just turn all things off, add another layer here. Okay, so the mother has an umbrella. She wears an umbrella, but only to protect herself. And you may argue, yeah, daughter has a hat on top of her head. Still, it's a selfish act. And if you check the direction where the mother looks is away from her daughter, not there, but somewhere outside the picture. So she's not happy. She doesn't want the child. It's something that doesn't belong to her, and she doesn't want to own it. Her hand is aside. Okay, she's not the ideal of the mother, concerned about the benefit of her daughter. No, she's more concerned about something else, and that's why her head is framed in darkness. Okay, so that's a shade on top of her head. So all these were conveyed and transmitted through paintings, and using shape, colors, rhythm, the contrast between dark and light, and so forth. And if this happened in the past with art, this happens not only with art but other forms of communication, where we can use different types of signs and codes in order to transmit emotions, feelings, information, so forth. And today we have media, we have video games ultimately, and I'll just go back to Resident Evil. Okay, as we can see here, Resident Evil 2 is what we are going to talk about. We can start with the title here, Resident Evil 2. It's cracked. Okay, what does the logo symbolize? Identity, Resident Evil 2. Okay, this is the title, and underneath it, we can see the city of Raccoon. This is Raccoon City. Raccoon City is a fictional city situated in the United States of America, so forth, so on, so on. Okay, what's important about this logo is the fact that it's cracked. It symbolizes deconstruction in the sense of fragmentation in the sense of corruption, illness. This is a game about zombies. And actually, it is an apocalyptic game. You can see some fire there burning, and some symbols, something like a cross here. So then police, something here. All right, so very nice. And the green buildings, no life there, so nobody's there, and it's raining. Okay, so it's sorrow, dark, and we have this grim scenery. And we will say that this kind of weather associated with sadness and destruction, together with all these frames and the buildings that collapse, or the fire that burns them, and the lack of humanity, lack of people in this picture, is something that is not exactly new. It's something used over and over again in the past, even in paintings. Let's have a look. Okay, so where is the... No, not this one. Yes or no? No. Okay. Gonna make it again. All right. So here we are. Okay. Let's put the starting there. Oh my god. Let's put Hieronymus Bosch on top. Doesn't work. Why not? Something happened there, but I can't tell what. Okay, yeah. So this is Hieronymus Bosch Last Judgment. Just a caption of it. As you can see, there are some similar parts, like the fire there, and the destruction of cities. This is the Last Judgment. It was presented by by Hieronymus Bosch like that. I won't go into a comparison between Hieronymus Bosch and Resident Evil 2, not right now at least. But I just want to say that in apocalyptic narratives, we have this exposure of this display of contrast between the good and the evil, between cataclysmic forces that collapse and they represent opposites. Okay, so is this important for our analysis of Resident Evil 2? Yes, it is important, because as Roland Barthes said, popular culture is something that utilizes old myths and gives them new meanings. Okay, so they don't have the same function as they had in the past. There's a different function, but still they are refurbished from the past and utilized in a new manner. Okay, the way you can transform a tool into an object for decoration, the way you have an antique sword that was used to kill people and you display it in a museum, so it's something that represents aesthetic pleasure, or historical information, source of information, for example. Well, Yeah, not only like that, it can be also used in the way that the icon of Che Guevara, for example, was used in order to sell T-shirts and do businesses like that. So we have this kind of process of monetization of history and mythology also. So these kind of stories and narratives, somehow they are very, very sticky, and people need them or they like them. Okay, we are all kids in a way, and let's see how this narrative of apocalypse or end of the world works here in our video game. But for this, let's go to Zoroastrianism, and in order to do that, I need to actually show you my screen. So it's a little bit difficult this process because, as I said earlier, I'm still new to editing. I don't know what I'm doing, but now I see that I'm doing it right because, yeah, this is what you see on the screen. Okay, so in both Eastern world religions, God is regarded as the beginning and the end, the light versus the darkness, and the eternal and omnipotent creator of mankind. Zoroastrians believe that life is a constant battle between good and evil, and because they believe their God Ahura Mazda is perfect, rational, and all-knowing God, they believe that he has an adversary, an evil spirit, Angra Mainyu, who is responsible for sin, illness, death, and all that is chaos. Zoroastrians believe that at the end of time, Ahura Mazda will defeat the spirit of evil and humanity will be resurrected after a final judgment of the soul. So we have this idea of apocalypse, the end of the world, in Zoroastrianism before Judaism. So Christian apocalypticism was very much inspired from Judaism, which was also inspired from Zoroastrianism. So, in order to better understand the parallelism between Zoroastrianism and Judaism, it's perhaps best to first analyze the atmospheres of the time and the location in which these two Eastern religions evolved. Okay, I won't go here in details. So, I'll just point out to this one. Similar to the beliefs of Christianity, Zoroastrianism taught that all humans are called to take part in the divine battle against Angra Mainyu. Comparable to the Judeo-Christian concept of Satan, Angra Mainyu is eternal like Ahura Mazda, but is not his equal, and despite the hostile spirit's ability to lead humans astray from the righteous path, he will eventually be defeated. Okay. So, hence, literature and movies and ultimately any kind of narrative, including those employed in video games that have this idea of the end of the world, can employ an avatar or a character like those presented in the Resident Evil. Or if you think about the path of the hero in a folk tale, in any type of folk tale, this kind of mission that the hero has in order to save the world or the kingdom and so forth. So we have Resident Evil as one version of the universe of the apocalypse, when the world is destructed and deconstructed, reformed into something, into a nightmare or something like that. And we have the characters that, of course, they represent the heroes that should save the world or the humanity in themselves, because that is the seed of the world. Okay, the seed of being human, the fact that you are a human, if you save yourself, somehow you also save humanity together with yourself. So let's see how this goes in the end while we analyze the game. Okay, we can choose here the story. Let's start with the new game. Claire Redfield. Okay, I'll just go with assisted. No, let's go with the standard. Although I hope that I won't be able to. I won't have to fight against Master too much.
Look, man, I'm serious, okay? I saw it
Anyway,
with my own eyes.
I just listened to what he has to say.
Tell us a story. Tell us a story.
Okay, well, it was last Friday night. I was walking home from the bar, and this woman started coming towards me. She was staggering, you know, so I figured she was drunk.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay, tell us, be honest now. How many drinks did you have?
No, man, I barely had a buzz on.
Oh, come on.
Look, just listen, all right? She got closer, and I got a good look at her. You had to see her eyes, her nose, her whole face. It looked like it was rotting.
Yeah.
She looked like a corpse, like a walking corpse, man.
Sounds like my wife.
I've never seen anything like it. I haven't been able to sleep since that night.
All right, calm down, buddy. Calm down. Just, hey, you gotta stay strong, okay? Don't give in to fear out there, right?
Yeah, well, you got that right. If you freeze up around these things, they'll sink their teeth in you. I should attack somebody.
Oh, come on. Just getting good. I need some sleep. Oh, shit! What do I do? What am I gonna do?
Yeah, I'm almost there. You know me, I'll be fine. Sounds good. I'll be back as soon as I find Chris. I will, but I gotta go. Why does everyone think I'm gonna get in trouble? What the? Hello?
Okay, so we started playing with Claire Redfield. As I said earlier, I'm gonna just go back to Roland Barthes anytime when I need to back up my interpretation about how video games as popular culture refurbish mythology in order to give it different purposes. So, what kind of mythologies are refurbished here? Well, obviously, tropes and icons from the old fairy tales. We can see that the character we've been given to utilize and go through the narrative of Resident Evil 2 is Claire Redfield. Claire Redfield symbolizes purity, innocence. She's a young girl, so she. The refurbished mythology that we use here, we can interpret that is used here, is the one of the sacrificial lamb, right? So it's the innocent, the same idea we can follow in the old fairy tales like Little Red Riding Hood. As we can see, Claire Redfield also wears a jacket that has the color red, and if we go closer to her, we can actually see that she has a necklace around her neck, and that's also a symbol of purity. It's a feather, and it's a spiritual symbol. It symbolizes purity and spiritual development. So we are in a horror video game, so we have to play with the characters that are weak Of course, Leon is not a weak character. He's a strong policeman, but he's weak in comparison to the monster he has to face. And well, Claire is just a little lamb lost there, little Red Riding Hood in the jaws of the wolf. Enjoy the rich aroma of our specially collected beers. And okay. All right. Here we have two cups of coffee. I'm gonna just walk around here. Commercials are all over the place, and it's quite interesting with the survival horror video games because we have this kind of very interesting critique of advertising industry because these are invented brands. They do belong to the urban environment, right? We see them everywhere. This is what pops out from the commercials into our eyes all the time. So we are followed by these monsters of advertising everywhere. We have social media today. If you doubt this, search Social Dilemma to see what technology does with our impulses and how they collect data about what people follow and so forth, how much attention you give to a certain thing, and how this shapes the way you actually interpret. You actually get the future information because they will just provide you according to the algorithm of what you look at, new information based on what you look at. So it's like if you look at something too much by mistake, you'll be given that content. But obviously, most of the times you'll be given something that you, at some point, you're interested in, and you'll just end up in a circular loop. And this idea of circularity in the past was associated with the hell. Okay, the idea of not being able to escape certain types of environments, right? So that's a circled thing. You may think of the 9 circles of hell, right? In the Divine Comedy of Dante Alighieri's. I'll go back to Dante Alighieri many times. But hell was seen as something circular. Okay, so advertising here, it also points out to this idea of circularity of information in a way. So, Dingo Red cigarettes. Well, life has you seeing red. Enjoy the wild taste of Dingo Red cigarettes. Okay, seeing red means to be angry. So, angry is something that is not encouraged in a society where everybody's a mouse, a lab mouse, right? more or less, right? You have to work, you have to produce. You don't need to be angry, right? Because this is counterproductive. Why life has you seeing red? Probably because of the suffering and unfairness of the things around you, right? We are in the fictional United States of America, which is Wild West, and also America is the land of freedom, but it's also the land of wild capitalism. So capitalism is somehow was compared all the time with the jungle, right? With nature, right? Unfair in its relations with the environment, everything like beasts. It's about the survival of the fittest. So if you're not strong, you will not survive, and that's life. Okay, so when life has you seeing red, enjoy the wild taste of Dingo Red cigarette. Okay, the Dingo Red cigarettes, they should represent the symbol of freedom, right? Get wild, get free. So smoking a cigarette will make you have a taste of that freedom. That's the idea behind the commercial. And of course, this is a pamphlet or something like an irony towards advertising, because this is exactly what Roland Barthes talks about when he points out to the fact that people refurbish, in the 20th century, media refurbishes myths in order to associate them with products so you can buy them. Because they instill the idea that, like buying the product will give you a glimpse of freedom in this case, right? So having a cigarette will make you free, just like a a dingo or something like that, a wild animal, right? A powerful type of freedom or wilderness instilled in the individual of an urban and capitalist society. So, get wild, get free, now on sale. So you have to pay for this freedom, right? So it's not for free. You have to pay for it. This is exactly the same idea that earlier I discussed, and I showed a video about that, about how the image of Che Guevara was used in order to sell t-shirts. Okay, so those who buy t-shirts would think they have a revolutionary taste, like, oh, they just struggle against authority to be free and so forth. But what they actually do by buying that t-shirt and living that diluted idea of anarchy is supporting an industry that sells t-shirts, right? So is this label associated with just a cloth that will give you an illusion, and illusion might seem enough for zombies who buy these kind of things, because what are zombies? We will soon see them here. What are zombies but citizens who are devoid by their own will, individuality, and they are like empty vessel for something else that pours into them. So they are consumers. The idea of zombies is the idea of consumption in a capitalist society. So many other things here that point to the same direction, and that's something that I really appreciate about survival video games, survival horror video games, especially the Resident Evil franchise and Silent Hill franchise, because they actually they make a critique of the society from all moral, social, political standpoints. Okay, so we will follow this. Yes, this is also ideology, but it's an ideology that is treated as a myth. So it is refurbished ideology infused in a video game that sells. Because this is a horror scenario. Horror should actually and actually horror cannot work in another way. What horror should do is take the problems of a society, those things that don't work, and expose them in a gruesome way. Okay, so if something is messy in society, they will use this opportunity to unveil it, to reveal it in front of the public, so to let you know what's wrong in the society. And they use this apocalyptic imagery when actually it's not very far from the idea of apocalypse, which means revelation, the truth. What is the truth? The truth is not so happy in these scenarios, because society at its core, capitalism at its core, it's merciless. Nature is merciless too. So it is the survival of the fittest, but what happens to those who cannot adapt to it? Well, you just perish. Yeah, it's nice to think like that when you are one of the fittest. But if you're not one of these people, what happens to the poor ones, to the weak ones? So you may think it's a leftist ideology behind it, but I'm not arguing against that. A little while to wind down the day. Okay, so the idea of using booze to escape the reality and the cruel reality, to using drugs or booze to alter your mind, alter your consciousness, so you can escape reality, and just how to say anesthetic, just like using an anesthetic. Is like if religion was the opium for the people, as Marx said, right? Well, opium opium is something that, or alcohol in this case, is something that will just let you forget the day, wind down the day. It's like you will wash all this dirt, urban dirt of the capitalist society. And yes, actually, given that the fact that today is 2020, right? So nearly the end of 2020 and we are facing a pandemics. The scenario of our society is not very far from the scenario of Resident Evil 2. So let's follow this narrative and do some
Anybody
interpretation while we're doing this.
Hello?
Okay, so we enter a shop here. It's very interesting to see this iconic, perfect representation, realistic representation of a shop, which clearly represents capitalist. One of the, cells, or how should I say? It's a microverse, or a picture of the whole idea of consumption society. Okay, so this introduces us to the idea of the zombies. So we still have here tobacco. We don't sell tobacco to minors, but get wild. Okay, it's like we may think that actually that advertising there is put only to calm down the mind, because those people probably do sell tobacco to minors, right? So it's it's something that suggests that there is a lot of perversion. We will see that actually this happens, just like in some interpretation, psychoanalytical interpretation towards a Little Red Riding Hood. You may think that everything that is here, selling tobacco to minors and so forth, is actually something that happened in the Little Red Riding Hood. Like you can think about the big bad wolf as a perverse sexual maniac or something like that, who rapes Little Red Riding Hood. The big bad wolf is something like that, and is the symbol of abuse, right? So she gets tricked in order to get abused. It's something that translates into rape, and we have the same idea here. We don't sell tobacco to minors, when they actually do. Okay, so is this statement, public statement of the big bad wolf, that pretends not to be what he really is, and not to do what he really does. And it is this difference between appearance and essence. It's this difference between what is told to society and the illusion that is cast upon the sheep, or the blind folk who believe into something or other things, right? Because they want to believe. It's easier to believe that way. And the true grim reality, which is monstrous. Okay, so here we have tobacco and cigarettes. Please have your ID ready, right? Under 18, no tobaccos. Like, really, hamburgers. We do remember that the guy was eating a hamburger. Was a discussion about, like, oh my god, like the guy who, the action of eating a hamburger. It's consumerist action. This is literally consumption, right? You are eating something, but it's also a product, so you're consuming a product. So they're all joined there. And the fat guy, the truck driver, was also part of this chain, because he was transporting some other products that are in the same mechanism of the capitalist society. So everything is there, but what's more interesting is the fact that he associated his wife with a corpse. He said, just like my wife while eating hamburger, and he hit the woman with his truck. And when he did that, he actually hit a zombie. He invoked, in a way, magically, abracadabra, he invoked the ghost of his wife, like a corpse, the corpse of a wife who will eat him the way he ate the hamburger. So this attitude, he was a fat guy, so probably he ate a lot, so he was used to consuming. So being used to consuming at that level will make him a consumer. So he was the icon of a consumer. So he was like going by, doing his job right. He was a good guy, but nevertheless a consumer, eating there. So he was chained to these kind of beliefs that were instilled into him by society or by environment, whatever he is. So he had to go along. He wasn't happy. He hated his wife, and he associated her with a corpse because he felt that he was drained by this woman who was his wife, right? But he despised his wife. He didn't like her, and he felt that he's being consumed by these ghosts. Because when he says just like my wife earlier on in the video, the wife is not there, so it's a virtual wife, in a way a ghost. Then literally he hits that woman who is actually a zombie, and he has to deal with the real the real ghost in quotation. So the ghost is actually a zombie. The zombie comes and eats him, right? So he gets consumed by his own virtual ghost, his own virtual wife, right? That was like a corpse. He gets consumed by the corpse. So it's just like the food he consumes him. So it's this process, inverse process, that actually gives us the passage between reality and fantasy. So is this moment, introductory moment, like a spell when he says like just like my wife. So he invokes the wife, she comes in as a zombie, and she eats him. So he becomes part of that thing totally. He gets immersed into the horror universe of Resident Evil 2, which is a zombie apocalypse. We will see more about this as it follows. And of course sexuality is part of it, because it is almost nude girl, very sexual poster of a wild woman wearing only a bra in just a swimsuit, right? So then space science, cold drinks, other things on the shelves, objects for consumption.
Are you okay?
Okay.
Wait here. I'll check it out.
Okay, so here we have a human. It's not a zombie, it's a bitten human. So he's going to be infected. Of course, we know the story of what zombies do to people. And let's see what's going on. I'm going to speed up a little bit.
Hold still!
Excuse me, is everything okay?
Stay back, ma'am. I got this.
Don't come any closer!
Oh, it's good that she has a gun. Okie dokie, so that one is down, I hope. Let's hurry up a little bit. So the act of cannibalism, because we talked earlier about the wife that was eating the human husband. Cannibalism is an act of consumption. Homo hominem lupus is something that we have it from philosophy. It's something that philosophers thought about a few centuries ago at least, and they realized this tendency of humans to eat or to consume or to utilize and betray their brethren, because it's not just the fact that okay, we have a key here. This is going to be useful. So consumption is associated with pornography, sexuality, right? So when somebody uses somebody else for sexual pleasure or in any other way, it's just like consuming that person, just fulfilling a need, right? So you have an individual who uses another individual for a certain type of purpose, right? And in this narrative of survival horror video games, this is seen as something to be blamed, right? It's something unfair and something animalistic. Just like sexuality is an animalistic impulse, eating is also animalistic, and eating another person, using another person just like an object or just like food, is something that deprives the doer from its own humanity. And this is what we see here. Zombies
Can't be alive.
are not humans anymore.
What's up with you?
Okay, so we can see here this idea that or the lack of consciousness. Okay, this one is dead, I think. All those zombies are never dead, they are undead. Okay, so the idea of eating another human, this idea of being a cannibal, is lack of empathy. Now let's try to remember that actually humans are mammals, and what we have opposite to other animals like reptiles is that part of the brain that has mirror neurons and that reflect emotions. We are social beings, so when we see somebody suffering, that part of our brain will also feel empathy towards that kind of being, and we will help somebody else in need. Well, it seems like capitalism successfully made people to strip off that part of their brain that corresponds to everything that mammals have in common, and to be reduced to something very, very, very carnal, which is the instinct for, just eating. It's consumption. So it's not even a rational consumption, it's the consumption for the sake of consumption. So it's an automatic process. They are machines of consumption. They consume, no thinking, no empathy, no feelings there, and they are deprived of humanity in the 100%. So this is what we see here. That's what a zombie is. It's the appearance of an individual. It's the mutilated figure of consumerism. This is what, at least this type of scenario tells us that, they're not humans anymore. They're worse than that. So, or less than humans. They're not animals, they're monsters, okay? They're not animals because animals don't wear this kind of gadgets and uniforms. So they look like humans, but they are not. They are a threat to humanity in the sense that they represent death of culture, because this is what culture is. It builds up on top of what empathy and the care of towards the brethren is, right? We cannot think of a society if it was populated with zombies. That's the end of the society. This is what this game is about, apocalypse. So society deprived of empathy, deprived of morality. Okay, morality is necessary because people don't have that kind of empathy anymore that will allow individuals to do the right thing without the usage of law, right? So we need moral laws, we need political and all kind of laws to instill the right thing. Why? Because people actually lost that kind of sense of doing the right thing. They lost empathy. They use one another, and they use one another for their own benefit. So basically what this type of narrative points to is the fact that people are wolves to each other. They are consumers, they consume each other, and this is simply immoral and evil. Okay, so let's check what's going on here. So
What the hell?
okay, so we have two fellows here.
A nightmare.
Uh-oh. I think I gotta run for a while. Oh my god. Ooh, that was a close one. I wonder if she's going to die here. Anything there? Jesus. That was close.
No, don't shoot!
Get down!
We gotta get out of here.
You alright?
Yeah, I think so. Thanks.
You can thank me later, when we're safe.
Holy shit.
Come on! Get in!
Hold on.
What the hell is going on?
I don't know. Hopefully they'll have some answers at the police station.
Wait, you're a cop?
Yeah, Leon Kennedy. You are?
Claire. Claire Redfield.
Live around here?
No. I'm looking for my brother. He's a cop too.
Well, it's a good thing we found each other. I don't know what to expect anymore.
Okay, so at the beginning you've seen the Umbrella Corporation flag, which is actually a stylized symbol of the Templars, okay, which is an order, monk's order, Christian order. And of course the Templars are associated a lot with conspiracy theories. This video game is about conspiracy theories. It tells us a story in which a secret society took control of Raccoon City, and actually it's bigger than that. And they utilize all kind of experiments that are illegal in secret. Yes, but actually they control the heads, the political heads of the city, and somehow, in a way or another, they bring up the apocalypse into the world of Raccoon City. Which means, just an example for the entire world, because this
Attention
spreads.
all citizens. Due to the citywide outbreak, you were advised to take shelter at the Raccoon City Police Station. Free food and medical supplies will be provided to everyone in need.
God, this is so unreal.
Police station's not much farther. They'll know something.
Yeah, but what if we're the only ones? What if there's no
No,
survivors?
there's survivors. It's a big city. There has to be. Looks like we're walking from here.
So, people consuming other people. It's a metaphor for things that.
Yeah, good call.
Leon, you gotta back up. What the?
Holy shit. There, get out. Get out now!
I can't!
Hold
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm all right. How about you?
I can't stay here. It's not safe.
Oh, shit. Go on ahead. I'll meet you at the station.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the symbol of explosion, what it represented. So just like Adam and Eve, they were in paradise. So you can imagine that car represented paradise in the sense that it was a moment of passage between two horrific environments, right? So the idea of the car was associated with the idea of paradise because it was a safe place, and we have both female and male characters there. So they are the Adam and Eve of our game, and there is a big bang that separates them. So you can think that actually this is when the gameplay happens with that explosion, when the male is separated from his counterpart, the female. We have two characters here, and we can think of them together as being a symbol of the androgen, and just the perfect being that infuriated the gods in Greek mythology. So Zeus casted a lightning upon the androgen to separate the female from to cut it in half, to separate the female part from the male part, so the androgen wouldn't be that powerful. Otherwise, would be a threat to the gods. So here we have the journey of Claire and the journey of Leon, both female and male characters, and of course they do represent the androgen. The police car, that paradise was shattered, of course, the place of safety. It was quite tranquil and nice while they were driving from the gas station into the city. So it was even a moment of peacefulness, and there was some kind of flirt going on in between them, right? So there is love at stake. There is potential of love, and you can see this kind of communication, intimate communication in the car between the savior and the princess, right? So there are more myths employed here, and boom, this shatters and the horror begins. Okay, so let's return to the game and see what's going on there. Try to play it and stay alive. Whoa! Impossible! My God! Get away from me, you freak! Run, run, run. Okay, let's see if...
Gotta keep moving.
So, as I said earlier, the collapse of the society, the zombies in the streets, on the streets, and...
It's like the end of the world.
yeah, it is the end of the world. It is apocalypse. This is zombie apocalypse. Pandemics. Folks, is it the coronavirus? I don't know, it's T virus, G virus. What kind of virus is going on here?
The police station. Almost there.
Magically there. So, rat them out, rat them out, rat them out. What's written there? Oh, I can jump there. So, the mechanics of the game, of the survival horror video games, usually have a few specifics and characteristics, and one of them is the fact that you cannot do many things in comparison to other games. Think about The Witcher or other. They have magic powers and so forth. Even there we have an apocalypse, but survival horror video games, they bring up what Christian would call personal salvation, right? So you have to be the individual who saved the world from a more personal perspective. So it's personal drama. Silent Hill is even more into the psychological symbols and Resident Evil is in between, so we have a social but also personal apocalypse here. So yeah, there are different genres. Okay, let me try to trick that one. I wonder where should I go. Came from here. Is it there? No. Okay, police. Where is the police department? Okay, so one of the facts that are common to these video games is the fact that you have to run more than you have to fight. So dodging is the key to stay alive in survival horror video games, so you have to dodge more. This is a different type of game mechanics than we're used to in other types of video games, and it represents very well the idea of surviving. So you have to survive. You cannot fight and beat everybody. You have to survive the horrors. Okay, so avoiding them to escape is what you do. It's more intimate and more likely to convey something that the original fairy tales intended to tell the children in a way. So if you go back to Little Red Riding Hood story, then you may think of Little Red Riding Hood as the symbol of innocence that is raped and abused, but the story in itself should be warning towards children not to go into the unknown, okay, because there are dangers there. So you should stay away from things you cannot control. You shouldn't go into the unknown because, you know, it's like the big bad wolf will eat you. And yeah, this is more likely to represent something like that, this video game, in comparison to other video games where you have a character, and once you master the rules of the game, you can beat all the zombies up. Think about The Witcher, think about those video games when you have superpowers and you can outmatch the monsters easily, so they don't represent what they should represent. So horror video games, from this perspective, they have monsters that represent powers very difficult to control, right? So they represent powers that are yes evil, but also evil, dangerous, and so forth. But the danger they represent it's more than what a character can control. We don't have bullets to shoot all of them. We are out of bullets, so we have to run. The idea of surviving the horrors is running away from them, avoid the touch. So, yeah, how do you run from the consumers of the capitalist society? Just don't add them on Facebook, man. Just delete them. I'm gonna do that with most of the people that I know. And it seems like I will have to end the stream quite soon because the owner of this house arrived. And yeah, I'm not alone here. Yeah, and believe me, I am consumed. In this narrative of mine, I am consumed by a zombie. She's a zombie. I'm talking. Okay, she doesn't like me to say that. But I really have to end the game pretty soon. Let's enter the Raccoon Police Station. Okay, we're here.
Anybody here?
Anybody here? Well, I'm here. So, alright. Let's see. We arrive at another safe place, which is the police station, and keep out. Oh my god, I'm in trouble. I should shut up. You have no idea my situation, what my situation is like. But anyway, okay. I think I talked enough about apocalypse and these kind of video games, and for a starter, we will continue next time. I'll just go back to. Yeah, let's see here. We're going back to our evaluation of Judaism and Zoroastrianism, because when we talk about religions and apocalypse, this was something that we coined earlier. we can see now that actually Resident Evil, I don't know why it doesn't work here. Resident Evil 2 is also one of those popular phenomena, popular culture phenomena that actually refurbish this apocalyptic narrative that actually was presented in the past in religions and other forms of literature. Okay, so as you can see, I lost my my charm and I lost my everything. Oh, gotta go now. Honestly, I really gotta go. I have no idea. So bye for now. Let me see if I can actually put there something. Yes, soon I'll be offline. So see you next time. And before that, just remember that anything that your mind conceives about what I said is actually a reflection of your inner selves. Yes, don't forget that. So see you very